Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're quickly talking about the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X. Now this handheld has just been released, there's been a lot of videos on it, a lot of people have been talking about it. And ASUS has sent me one for review, but not necessarily to be reviewed as a handheld, but to be reviewed as a handheld and PC combo. This YouTube channel right now is being powered by the ASUS ROG Xbox Ally X for the next while. So all of my videos, at least for the next few weeks, are going to be recorded, edited, and uploaded through the Ally X. And that is what's currently powering this video, which is very interesting because if all goes well, there's a huge chance that this channel will be powered by just strictly gaming handhelds and Android. Because right now, my Steam Deck does a whole lot for the channel, and so does my Android phone. And I may add this into the mix, and I won't be on a PC or laptop anymore. I'll just be on handhelds. Go figure. Next up here, we're shifting from something very real to very fake and talking about Scarface. Now, we talked about Scarface in yesterday's video when news of Scarface broke on the internet, and a lot of people were excited that it may be headed to Steam and GOG. In fact, there were headlines like this one: legendary GTA competitor Scarface coming to Steam and Epic with HD graphics mode. Turns out it's 100% fake. Also, in yesterday, we took a look at the Steam store page and it looked kind of real. I mean, the developer didn't look fake and everything looked okay. However, as people started diving into some of the details and really looking into the developer, it turns out things were not necessarily as they seemed. In fact, the Steam store page has been taken down. Now, in addition to that, there's more information here in the still standing general discussion area of the Steam store listing, or the former Steam store listing. And it is from the people or company behind this thing. They say, notice regarding Scarface, The World Is Yours 2006. We've recently entered discussions with multiple parties concerning the project's status. After careful consideration, we believe that temporarily hiding the store page is the most appropriate step forward. And we've already begun coordinating with Valve to make that happen shortly. Furthermore, they go on to say here, the current page was initially intended as a placeholder while we worked through ongoing licensing and technical matters. Those are huge things to work through. Unfortunately, the unintended release of certain builds on other platforms caused unexpected complications and concerns. Because of that, we feel it's necessary to pause and reevaluate. I would argue and say cancel, but that may be a different story. And furthermore, for some possible more context on the matter, Silent over on Twitter says, this release reportedly ships Silent Patch and Fusion Fix, and none of us were contacted about this in advance, which isn't necessary as per the license, but would be nice. I know that the holder of the Scarface license wasn't willing to re-release the game, so this is suspect. On top of that, Silent goes on to say, so Scarface is not the first game EC Digital put for sale without the necessary approvals. Cute. And taking a look, it does seem that EC Digital has done this before. Timothy L. says, the game in question is Bewilder House. It was originally released on GameJolt way back, went viral for a bit. A person from the Bewilder House's dev team did respond to my inquiry. They confirmed this was done without their knowledge. And here is the quote from the person who worked on Bewilder House. I am indeed Bewilder House game artist. Thank you for reaching out about this. Your doubts are perfectly correct. An unknown publisher has stolen our game to sell it on Steam and Epic Game Store. Bewilder House is free and there is no plan to ever sell it. We are aware of the problem and we have engaged procedures to get the stolen version removed from these platforms. Ultimately, we will check if we can release the game ourselves to prevent this to happen again. But if you see a paying version of it anywhere, run away, that's not us. So let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. I would argue one of the best ways to possibly experience Scarface may be through something like NetherSX2 and also using some upscaling or some HD texture packs. And that may give a better experience than the fake or possibly fake, arguably fake thing that was posted on the Steam store. Let me know your thoughts. And speaking about PlayStation 2 emulation, next up here we're talking about PS2 emulation on Android with NetherSX2 Classic and NetherSX2 Patch. Both of these are based on AetherSX2. The big difference between the two is NetherSX2 patch is based on AetherSX2 version 4248, where NetherSX2 Classic is based on AetherSX2 3668. So both versions of NetherSX2 got a couple of brand new updates. Taking a look at the changelog here, they bumped version, they've removed the unneeded debug files from the APKs, they fixed weird run issue on Ace Combat 04, they fixed VU separation issues for Naruto and Ultimate Spider-Man. And in terms of game updates, Dynasty Warriors 3 and 4, they fixed missing graphics. Hot Wheels Beat That, they fixed various car physics issues. Jeopardy, they fixed menus. Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam, they fixed the tutorial crash. And UEFA Champions League 2025 fixed player uniform rendering. And that was back last week, but there is a very recent update here that fixes even more stuff. So at the time of filming, the latest update for NetherSX2 patch and Classic is version 2.2. And with this update, there's even more game fixes here. Game fixes for Shin Megami Tensei, this is Football 2004. Wild Arms 5, World Tour Soccer 2005, and Worms Forts. Now, if you are interested and wanted to learn more about this stuff, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. And speaking about stuff on GitHub and also stuff on Android, next up we're talking about GameNative, where they say GameNative allows you to play games you own on Steam directly on Android devices. And GameNative just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, version 0.5.0 of GameNative is the latest update, but it is worth noting this is a pre-release, so there may be bugs and issues with this one before a stable release. And they say here, as for what's changed, grid view, create game shortcut, 2 resolution related changes that bug me, and add Bionic containers. So for more information on these changes, the initial Bionic changes include a Bionic container option with Proton 9.0 assets, ARM64 x86 64, FEX Core Manager and UI, Adreno Tools Driver Manager, Controller Manager, and native extras for GPU hardware buffers and virtual controllers. And for the 2 resolution-related changes that bug me, one of them is upping the minimum resolution, or the default resolution rather, to 720p to allow more games to launch. 480p, I guess, is too low for some games to launch and does result in more crashes. And secondly, 960 by 540 is 50% of 1920 by 1080, which is the screen size of many handhelds. Luckily, existing 960 by 544 containers work fine, and in the container setting, it fills in the custom resolution field. So on top of all of that, GameNative is getting a bit of a revamp here in overall look and feel. And I would say this is a huge update for GameNative. If you use GameNative, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And speaking about looks and feels, next up we're talking about a brand new emulation front end that just got a brand new video on YouTube showcasing it in action. The video is titled SNES Classic for PC, PC Classic Mini SNES Edition. If you wanted to watch the video, again, like everything we talk about, link will be within the GitHub link below. But this is a very interesting emulation front end, and one that reminds me a whole lot, well, it's supposed to, of the SNES Mini. I am very curious to see if this gets ported to other platforms and the overall adoption rate. I'm guessing that this may be popular with people who love this look. And speaking about innovative stuff, next up we're talking about the MCON. Now, we talked about the MCON a while back when it was initially unveiled and initially conceived, which is a very interesting controller overall designed for smartphones. There is a video showcasing it in action, as well as the developer talking a whole bunch about it, which I would recommend checking out. He is a very animated individual. So taking a look at the official MCON site here, and they're currently priced at $205. And that is for pre-order. I'm guessing the price may go up afterwards. However, on the website as well, there are a whole bunch of pop-ups with discounts, so just be mindful of that. You can probably get it for even cheaper. And this is that magnetic controller. And speaking about videos and pre-orders, next up here we're talking about the AYN Odin 3. And AYN posted a brand new video on their YouTube channel showcasing some gameplay for the AYN Odin 3. And pre-orders have also shifted to their official website. So in an announcement on their Discord, they say, "We would like to inform you that we have suspended the Indiegogo Odin 3 campaign and have started selling it directly on our official website." Now, these are all powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, but there are a few different options available. They start at $329 for one with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. and they go all the way up to $519 for 24 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. There's a bunch of different colors available. I think they all look really good. I'm a little bit partial to the rainbow one. I think that one looks the best. If you've ordered one of these, let me know what you ordered and what color you picked in the comments below. And speaking about handhelds, next up here we're talking about MagicX. And MagicX has announced details for the Retro45, the N64-ish inspired handheld. And taking a look here, this one will feature a Mali GPU. It's got the MediaTek Helio G85 powering it with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. I'd recommend checking out the Retro Handhelds article for more information on the matter. The pricing of this one is said to be around $95, give or take. And there are a bunch of different colors available. I'm hoping that Atomic Purple does become available. Let me know your thoughts on this one. And speaking about colors, next up here we're talking about Battlefield 6, and there's a little bit of controversy in the Battlefield 6 community right now regarding skins and colors of things. So this post on Reddit has a whole bunch of attention. I mean, look at the amount of upvotes and comments here. And the title of it is Grounded Skins for a While, 18 Days Exactly. And it seems as if this new skin is not necessarily being well received by a lot of people. So heading down into the comments, and well, here's one of the most upvoted comments. Man, that looks effing dumb. God, this game makes BF1 look like a piece of art. And this one here, why is it so much to ask for just regular military uniforms? I would open my wallet if I could play with a legit US Army kit or as a Marine. Nobody is using this stuff. However, this person says, is it realistic? No. Is it more grounded than Beavis and Butthead or Peter Griffin or others? I would say yes. So it's really interesting overall. This person, I can't wait to play as Cardi B in Battlefield 6. The comments here are amazing. If you play Battlefield 6, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts about these uniforms and these skins. I'm guessing if they're selling, they're going to keep making them. So I'm really curious to see how many people end up buying them, even though that there's a lot of complaints about them. And speaking about new stuff in game, next up we're talking about Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. And if you're a fan of Persona or Joker, you're going to be a huge fan of this announcement. And this was tweeted out by the official Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account. Joker has officially joined Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and the Joker Festival is starting. They say tomorrow, October 23rd, but it's October 23rd at the time of filming. So it starts today through Sunday, October 26th, and there will be exclusive items. Next up, we're shifting to Linux and talking about Fedora and AI. And if you're not a fan of AI, you're not going to like this news. If you're a fan of AI, you're going to probably like this news. However, in terms of resisting AI, I would argue AI is probably going to be present in a lot more things normally moving forward. And here's kind of a prime example of it. So this headline's over on Gaming on Linux, and they say Fedora Linux project agrees to allow AI-assisted contributions with a new policy. Now, fortunately here, it's just not open season for AI. There are strict guidelines surrounding it. If you wanted to learn more about it, I would recommend checking out the article because they took an excerpt right from the Fedora project page. But it does look like AI will be a part of more and more things moving forward. Is that a bad thing? Possibly and possibly not, depending on how it's used. But moving on, and we're shifting from hardware to software and talking about a brand new game that's just launched, or a brand new collection of games, the Jackbox Party Pack 11. Now, I don't know about you, but I do enjoy Jackbox games, especially with possibly non-gamers or a more casual audience, or if you're drinking with friends. This can be a whole lot of fun here. It can go off the rails quite easily. But anyways, Party Pack 11 is out now, and it's not that expensive. In Canada, it's less than $40. And there is a demo available if you wanted to check it out. And speaking about announcements, next up we're talking about Nintendo. And Nintendo seems to have some brand new advertisements posted or unlisted on their YouTube channel showcasing Metroid gameplay. Now these ads are not very long at all. They're like 15 seconds each, and yes, they are ads. But if you're interested in possibly seeing even more light in terms of Metroid stuff, you may want to check out these ads. And speaking about announcements for upcoming games, next up here we're talking about Mouse PI for Hire. And I think a lot of people are excited about this one. I, for one, am. The game looks really interesting overall with a very interesting art style. Unfortunately, this game has been delayed. So here's their announcement. We know that you are all excited for the release date announcement of Mouse PI for Hire at the Galaxy's Gaming Showcase this week on October 23rd. Ahead of the reveal, we wanted to let you know that we have made the decision to move the launch of Mouse PI for Hire from 2025 to early 2026. Now, I don't know about you, but I have no issue with this whatsoever. If they want to postpone it just to polish up the game a little bit and release a more complete product, I'm absolutely okay with that. Let me know your thoughts though. Are you upset that they're delaying the game, or did you forget about the game altogether? And last up here, we're talking about storage. And if you're a fan of larger capacity NVMe drives, you might be a fan of this announcement here. SanDisk has just announced the launch of the WD Black SN8100 NVMe SSD, 8 terabytes. Yes, this thing goes up to 8 terabytes, but it's priced at $1,000. And with the fancy heatsink, it bumps it up to $1,050 or $1,049.99 if you wanted to be specific. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's a whole lot to pay for storage. But again, that is a whole lot of storage. 1 terabyte is sitting at like $200 right now. That's with the heatsink. Without is just a little under that, $150. And taking a look here at the speeds, it's rated up to 14,900 megabytes a second, which is 100 megabytes a second more than Samsung. So for those who may be unaware, Samsung released the 9100 Pro 8 terabyte SSD about a month ago, I think, give or take. I could be wrong with that one. And it's currently priced at $899.99, so basically $900. It's about $100 cheaper than the WD version. And the heatsink here is also a cheaper premium. It's a $20 premium compared to the $50 premium that WD is commanding. On top of that, in terms of overall speeds here, the 9100 Pro goes up to 14,800 megabytes a second, which is 100 megabyte a second slower than the WD version. I highly doubt someone would notice that speed difference, but who knows here, I could be wrong. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. The one fluff is off snoring in her box by the window, and I'm not about to bother her. She seems pretty peaceful, just monitoring or absently monitoring the birds outside. And she made an appearance in yesterday's video anyway. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.